I want to go to John Yoo right now, the former Deputy Assistant Attorney General, legal eagle extraordinaire. John, first to the Trump trial and talk that the judge would like closing arguments maybe by Tuesday, or get the process going. Is that doable?
Oh, yes. I think the key for the trial, and this has been, I think, to President Trump's advantage, is that the prosecution's case is ending with Michael Cohen, convicted perjurer, convicted tax evader, someone federal judges have said you can't tell whether this guy's ever telling the truth. So if you're Donald Trump, you may want that to be the last image in the mind of the jury. So Trump could put on his own witnesses. For example, on Fox, we've been talking about Bob Costello, who was Michael Cohen's lawyer a few years ago, who has some very interesting, what we call impeachment evidence on the credibility of Michael Cohen about how he's changed his story repeatedly. But Trump might want to go directly, keep the defense very short and go directly to the jury so the jury will end watching the proceedings with Michael Cohen in their memories.
Now, I think you lawyers call it maybe advice, don't overplay your hand. So there is a great temptation to bring on like a Costello, even a Brad Smith, some of these other names that have been mentioned. But you might risk losing a good thing or veering down a different path. Why is that the thought when a Costello would seem on paper to be a pretty compelling witness, what he could say about Cohen, who never at the time he was representing him talked about anything nefarious with Donald Trump and did after the fact? That might be too tempting to pass up. Why not?
I always thought trial lawyers like craps more than poker. So that's more like their game. But I think it might look like this. There's 2 points, as you say, you might want to raise. You want to get through them quickly. One is, they say, calling someone who's an expert on campaign finance, like Brad Smith, who was on the Federal Elections Commission, a friend of mine. He will come and testify and say, where's the crime, right? The DA here is trying to say the bookkeeping, accounting misdemeanors are really to cover up something else. Where's that crime? Is it a federal election crime? Brad Smith can say very quickly, under the laws exist now, no. Now, I think this judge may be unwilling to let Smith testify that much. And then maybe one witness to attack Michael Cohen's credibility, like Bob Costello. But I think if you were Trump's lawyers, you watched what happened this last 2-3 weeks, you watched the prosecution overplay its hand, almost trigger a mistrial with Stormy Daniels, and then end with someone like Michael Cohen, the worst possible witness a prosecution could ever want to rest their case on. You might say, let's get out of here fast. Let's go right to the jury. You would do that if you're Trump's lawyers and you're confident and you think you did really well these last weeks. If you think that you did poorly, that the prosecution might win, then you might put on a much longer defense with a lot of witnesses.
I take it from what you're saying, it wouldn't be good legal advice for Donald Trump to take the stand.
Well, this is the thing, I think, that's the real, that is a real blockbuster question here, because you could see the prosecution. I think part of their game is to taunt Trump, to goad him into taking the stand. He has taken the stand in 2 previous cases. They didn't turn out well for him. And so I think it would be a big mistake. Trump has the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, plus the Constitution requires the prosecution prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt, which means that the defense doesn't have to do anything if the prosecution's case looks weak. I think the smart trial lawyer, watching what's been going on, they say to President Trump, sit down, let us take care of it. We think we've done a great job. We're going to continue going after Michael Cohen. That's why Monday is really important, because they have not finished Cohen's cross-examination. I think that Cohen still might have some little credibility left. They have to really go for the jugular on Monday and finish him up.
Meanwhile, the Hunter Biden request to delay these couple of trials, I remember Democrats when they were criticizing Donald Trump for the delay tactic, but when they need it, they use it themselves. But what do you make of that and the likelihood these could get pushed back? Because the one would be around the time of his father's first debate with Donald Trump. What do you think?
We've talked earlier how Donald Trump's overall legal strategy has been really successful, pushing off the 3 other prosecutions, and this week one might be the only one. Biden's trial strategy has been a disaster, and it's been the exact reverse. They are managing to place the timing of their trial smack in the middle of the first presidential debates. They should have pled this case out long ago. The last thing they want is to have an open trial with all of this information being presented in the voters' minds right during the summer. I don't really understand what they think they were doing. In a way, they were trying to copy Trump's trial strategy, being very public, of being aggressive, not pleading, going to trial. But the timing has been a real disaster for Hunter Biden.
Yeah, to put it mildly. John, thank you. Always good catching up and learning the facts on now. We've got two separate big trial issues on this matter here.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.